You are staring at a poster on the wall of an army recruitment office in a mid-sized American city. Soldiers, fast roping from a Black Hawk helicopter at night. Their faces are covered. Their kit is blacked out. Beneath the image, 3 words. Rangers, lead the way. You are 19 years old. You have wanted this since you were 12. Not the poster, not the slogan, the thing behind it, the thing those men are moving toward in the dark. You enlist. You sign a contract that says you will attempt to earn a place in the most storied light infantry battalion in the United States Army. You do not know yet what that word, attempt, actually means. You are about to find out. Level 1. The candidate. Fort Benning, Georgia. August. The heat is not weather. It pushes down on your shoulders and sits in your lungs. You have jump wings you have worn for exactly 11 days. The ranger instructor who greets your bus does not look at your wings. He looks at your eyes. He tells you to get off the bus. You get out the bus. RASP. 61 days. 60% attrition. The RIs tell you nothing. You do not need to survive the next 4 hours. Call range. You will not sleep. You move through the Georgia woods in full kit, navigating by map and compass, carrying a rucksack that starts at 55 pounds and grows heavier as your body grows weaker. The trails do not exist. Noise is failure. Men quit on day 1, not because they are weak, because they are honest. There is a van. The van takes them to the road. Nobody mentions them again. You do not quit. You do not know yet if that is courage or stubbornness. The difference does not matter. Both keep you moving. The water obstacle, the 12-mile foot march, the ranger fitness test. These are the minimums. The RIs are not interested in minimums. They are interested in what you do when your body has started negotiating with your mind about what is truly necessary. You stop negotiating. You move. 61 days after the bus, your name is on the list. You are assigned to a battalion. You do not choose. You go where the regiment sends you. You are not a ranger yet. You are a private who has earned the right to prove he belongs. If you want to see every rank in every elite unit, SAS, Delta Force, Navy SEALs, subscribe and hit the bell. A new one drops every week. Level 2. Private Ranger. You arrive at your battalion. The other Rangers do not welcome you. They watch you. They watch how you carry your kit, whether you flinch when a sergeant raises his voice, whether you slow down when no one is looking. Everything is a test. None of it is announced. You carry the most weight and hold the least authority. Your rifle is your responsibility, before your body is your responsibility. You will clean it when you are too tired to lift it. You will reassemble it in total darkness until the motion lives in your hands and not your mind. Your first deployment comes faster than you expected. The bird lands. The ramp drops. You follow the man in front of you into the dark. Stack formation outside a compound door. 3, 2, 1. Then sound becomes something else entirely. Then you move. You do not think inside the objective. Thought is too slow. Your training has replaced thought with sequence. Afterward, you sit on the ramp of the aircraft and find the moments where you are a half-second slow. You mark them. There is always a next time. Level 3. Specialist. Ranger. 2 years in. You are not new anymore. The weight has become familiar enough that your body has reorganized itself around it. Your value to the 4-man team is specific and understood. You are not interchangeable with the man beside you. You are his complement. You apply for the Ranger course. Not RASP. That was entry. This is a leadership school. 61 days. 3 phases. Georgia, Dahlonega, Florida swamps. 1 meal every 24 hours. You will lose 20 pounds and lead graded patrols on no sleep, evaluated by men who have seen every way a plan falls apart. The tab is a small yellow and black arc of cloth smaller than your palm. It is the most significant piece of fabric in the United States Army. You earn it. You come back different. Not better at fighting, better at thinking while fighting. That is the distinction the course was designed to create. Level 4. Sergeant, Ranger, 4 men. You're 4 men. You contribute to the plan. You brief your men, and when a question has no answer, you say so, because a Ranger Sergeant does not invent certainty. You rehearse the mission until your team can execute it without you, if they have to. That last part is important. If they have to. You have lost men, not from your current team, a Ranger in your platoon 2 years ago, an IED on a road in a country you cannot name. He was 23, 14 months in the regiment. You did not speak at the memorial because you did not trust your voice. You do not discuss this with your current team. The weight is yours to carry. Passing it to them before they have carried their own would be the wrong kind of leadership. You will find the words when the time is right. Your standard has not dropped since RASP. It has risen. The day it drops is the day you become a problem instead of an asset. You never want to be a problem someone above you has to solve. Level 5. Staff Sergeant, Ranger Platoon Sergeant. 42 Rangers. Your platoon commander has authority. You have knowledge. The difference between those two things determines whether the platoon functions or fractures. You brief him honestly. If his plan has a problem, you tell him before the rehearsal, not during execution. He decides. You execute. That is the contract. Your soldiers are your occupation, not your paperwork. You know which one is having trouble at home, because his groupings have opened 4 inches in 3 weeks. A ranger, whose groupings open, does not have a marksmanship problem. Before a deployment, you keep it short. Long does not stay with them in the aircraft. Short does. You have been shot twice. You stayed on the deployment both times. That was the right decision. You would make it again. Level 6. Sergeant First Class, Ranger, 12 years in. More countries than your passport reflects. Your body is an inventory of decisions. The knee surgery delayed 18 months. The shoulder that catches on full extension. The hearing in your left ear that is technically within range and practically not what you were issued at 19. You do not mention these things. They are the ledger of choices that kept you here. You mentor. You find the specific gap between a young sergeant's ability and the standard required, and you close it. Not gently, not harshly, precisely. Young rangers watch how you move through a room. They watch what you do when a plan collapses, and 3 seconds remain. And the right answer is not in any manual. You do the right thing every time because the one time you do the wrong thing is the time they remember. The weight behind your eyes is real. You carry it forward. That is the only direction available, and you stopped needing it. Explained years ago. Level 7. Master Sergeant, Regimental NCO. Senior. Enough that a battalion commander asks your opinion before making personnel decisions. Junior enough that you are still a soldier and not yet a symbol. You know everything. You decide some of it. You have planned direct action missions and sat in targeting meetings and worked alongside people whose affiliations were never written in any document you signed. That authority cannot be built in a classroom. It can only be built by going, repeatedly, into places where the consequences of being wrong are immediate and final. You see new NCOs come in tabbed and decorated, and you spend 12 weeks finding out whether their proficiency holds when they are responsible for other men's lives. The ones who do not hold, you redirect early. An NCO redirected late becomes a problem that costs the regiment something it cannot get back. Level 8. Sergeant Major, Ranger Battalion. The senior enlisted soldier in a battalion of 800 men. Everything that touches the enlisted force is yours. He holds the rank. You hold the regiment. A commander who does not understand the difference will find his unit performing at a level that charts cannot explain. Charts measure outputs. You manage inputs. When a soldier fails, you are the last stop before the institutional consequence. You speak quietly. You ask the questions his chain of command could not ask, because authority changes what people say. That window narrows as rank increases. You protect it. You have written letters to families after operations that went wrong. You wrote each letter as if it were the only one. For that family, it was. You remember every name. You do not try to release them. They are part of how this works. Level 9. Command Sergeant Major, 75th Ranger Regiment. The senior enlisted soldier in the regiment. Every ranger in every battalion is your responsibility, in the way that weather is your responsibility. You cannot control it. You can shape the conditions that prepare men for it or leave them exposed to it. You set the standard not in writing but in presence. You travel to the battalions. You talk to privates and ask what they know and whether the men above them are teaching or just demanding. You can read an organization in 48 hours. You are rarely wrong. The Ranger Creed is not a poster. It defines what happens when everything breaks down. It does not tell you what to decide. It tells you who you are when you decide. That is the difference between a value and a rule. You protect the culture. Nothing else you do here matters as much. Level 10. Commander, 75th Ranger Regiment. You're a colonel. 4,000 Rangers answer to you. You were a lieutenant when the towers fell, a captain through the years when missions ran every night, and the mistakes were real, and some of them were yours, and you carried them forward without the luxury of stopping. Every step was a filter. Every posting removed the men who could not sustain the standard across time. The regiment discarded them not cruelly, but accurately, because accuracy is a form of mercy the institution owes itself. You authorize operations knowing what it means. The memorial ceremony, the letter to the family, the folded flag, all downstream of the word go. You give that word when it is correct, and you live with every version of both. The clock tower has names on it. Some of them you knew, some of them you led. All of them chose this. So did you. Level 11. Commander, Joint Special Operations Command. You are a Lieutenant General, Delta Force, SEAL Team 6, the 75th Ranger Regiment. All of it answers to you. You command the most capable direct action force in the history of organized warfare. You brief the Secretary of Defense. When the President needs military options that cannot be executed by conventional forces, your staff produces them. You explain what is possible and what is not. You do not inflate the possible, because inflated possibility costs lives in places that do not appear in newspapers. You were a Ranger private once. That private is still inside this office. He is the reason you know the difference between a mission that is difficult and a mission that is impossible. He is the reason the men who brief you do not simplify. Level 12, the weight. There is no level above this one, not in the way you have been climbing. You are defined by what you left behind and what you carried forward. You remember being 19 and certain, the bus at Fort Benning, the water obstacle, the cold that lived in your chest for 3 days, the young man beside you in the mud who became, in those hours, as close as anyone you have ever known. Some of those men are still in the regiment. Some are on a wall. Some are in a folded flag, in a house, in a state you have visited once, when you knocked on the door and said the true things you could say, and did not fill the silence with the easier ones. You are every version of yourself between that morning and this one, 19 and terrified and determined, 34 and exhausted and certain, carrying the names of the dead and still moving forward because that is what Rangers do. And you have never been anything else. Somewhere tonight, a private is in the Georgia woods with a compass and a rook, heavier than anything he has carried before, asking himself the question you asked at the same age, in the same dark. He will find his answer the same way you found yours. If this hit different, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and leave a comment. Which level stopped you cold? One step, then the next.
Rangers lead the way.